Well, good morning and Merry Christmas. It is Christmas Day 2021. I'm here at the hangar this late morning. The kids have all gotten their presents opened. They're playing with their electronics, so and everything's picked up. There's not a lot for me to do at the house, so I figured I'd come down to the plane and shoot a quick video on what we did here with the new yokes and the updates. I think the first one is going to be an overview of what the installation looks like and where we put everything, and then I'll do a video on the individual, the 275s and the autopilot and how I've incorporated it into my checklist, which you guys will see in future videos. I go through it, updated my checklist. So let's start off here. All right, so we got the camera flipped around. So here we are in the plane, and I'll start off with one of the more obvious features. We replaced the old D yokes with these. Actually, they're Cheyenne 2 yokes that came out of a plane down in Texas that I bought on eBay, and part of the autopilot install is the control thing up here with the pitch trim, autopilot cancellation. My push to talk, which was actually hard to get used to, is up here on my index finger. I'm used to my thumb. There was this button here, was the go-around switch to the S-Tech 3100 that we ended up not putting in, or swapping out, and I related why that is. But the iPad holder fits good on it. I can still see everything when my seat is all the way back right now, but when I'm set forward. The takeoff go-around button, instead of being here, is here, right on the power. So when I'm ready, I just reach up with my index finger, click, and then feed in some power and get us going, get the airplane cleaned up on a go-around. And also I'll show you on takeoff what I do with that when I go over the autopilot. So as I mentioned before, we'll start here. We were able to retain the airspeed indicator, and that really has made the transition much easier. I've been up twice now. First time we shot some approaches, but only 2, and we did the controls on the autopilot, getting used to what button to hit when and that type of thing. Next thing down is actually a power outlet that comes with a USB-C and USB-A. So I have that now over here. I used to, and I still left the cigar charger outlet here, and I used to have a cable that came across. And now I'm leaving that just for passengers so they can power up their, mainly the kids' iPads. And so when they're sitting back there, instead of looking out the window and enjoying the scenery, they have their videos and such. Anyway, and the wife also can power up her tablet. Let's see, no real changes on this side of the panel. We still have the engine monitor and the gauges. Here in the center stack, we got the GFC 500 control panel, and we'll go over that in some detail. I moved the audio panel down one to mount this up, and you'll notice there's no longer the lights up here with the fuel pump light and the gear alert light. I still have the gear alert warning, or I'm sorry, the backup alternator warning is this little light right here. And if I lose the main alternator, the BNC backup alternator will come on, or was on already, but it'll pick up the load. And if it's too much load for that smaller alternator to cover, this light will start flashing. And I will then turn, backup radios off and what I need to turn off to get that light to quit flashing. Then the backup alternator is covering the entire load, and I can continue to my destination and work out getting it fixed. And that's really my single point of failure right now, and the reason that I have this in is the alternator belt. It's an automotive alternator belt. Although I'm sure aircraft spruce or whatever, because it goes into a plane, charges a lot more, but it's what it is. And if that belt fails or comes apart, I have a backup because, of course, landing gear, all my navigation, all my communications gear is all electric driven. Landing gear, I think I mentioned that, is electric driven. Okay, so we moved some of these items here. The fuel boost pump activation light is now come over to here, and the gear up warning light is right here, right in my field of vision. So how this works, I don't know if I've ever walked through this, but if the gear are up and I go to the second notch of flaps, or if I go to less than, I think it's 12 inches of manifold pressure, that light will come on and an alarm will sound. So I have to, before I go to 11 inches of manifold pressure, which is pretty low, I mean, the gear have to be down, and as you guys can see in my flights, I think I've only had it happen once or twice that I've pulled power back so far because I came in too high, that thing went off. And as I said, if the gear aren't down and I go to my second notch of flaps, that alarm will sound as well. So those are now over here, and that's kind of if I miss my gumps or I forget to do something, that's my ultimate, oh God, I hope I remember to put the gear down thing. Okay, so GTN came one lower. It used to sit just a little bit higher up here, and the KX155 lowered down. Now the transponder, I have moved over to this side of the panel. So the I forget what the model number on this 345, I think is what it is. GTX 345 is over here. Now, what I do is, because the GTN and the 345 are tied together, I actually just control the entering the squawk codes and identing right from the GTN now, because my hand naturally reaches over. I'm flying with my left hand. My right hand is what I'm pushing buttons with. So the only thing I really even look at that thing for now is to make sure that the alt light is on and broadcasting altitude prior to takeoff. As you can see, the STEC 50 is out. This one was always blank. Now, here's a traffic mute button and then the display backup button. And this ties in to the 275, and it actually only applies to these two. So we'll get this thing powered up so you can see what it looks like energized. Bringing the radio online, everything. I'm hooked into a battery tender, so that won't be a problem. But the fans, you can hear everything come online. And okay, so we hit continue. And this is aligning. Let me turn that speaker off so we don't hear people. And it wants me to keep the wings level. Of course, we're sitting on the ground. And this takes a little bit for that to come up online. I'm going to clear that so it's not flashing red. We don't need to worry about refueling because I did that already. Okay, there we are. We're coming up online. And these are the 3 GI 275s. Now, I fly with this right-hand one set like that. So I've got my artificial horizon, my HSI, horizontal situational indicator. And then what I normally fly, though, is track, desired track, cross-track air, waypoint active, distance to that waypoint, and the estimated time of arrival. The distance and bearing to the airport, because you got to remember the distance and bearing to a waypoint is not necessarily the airport, is up here. And then what I've done over here on the 650, and it used to be that all this information was here. And that's how I flew, was track, desired track, cross-track air. It's how I fly approaches. So what I've done now is I've made this more of a gross overview. So instead of it being fine, where I'm tracking, track, desired track, I got distance to destination, ground speed, time to top of descent, vertical speed required, estimated time of arrival local, and estimated time to destination. So
train system not available.
Yes, train system not available. So this information helps me on this side and helps the passenger on when we're going to get there and how much longer it is, that type of thing. Also, we have the map page, and I put time to top of descent, ground speed, distance to destination, and then the wind. And this also displays traffic. I am still actually flying instead of the map. I fly with this because, of course, I have my iPad, has a much bigger screen that I can scroll around easy. And this one, I can get to the flight plan very easy to make adjustments to the flight plan. So that's how I have my avionics currently set up and what I've been doing. Like I said, I've been up twice, and that's how it seems to be working the most, or the best. I'm getting messages flashing here, so I push and hold that in, brings up a menu. The transponder's not on. Okay, great. ADS-B not transmitting. So we'll send that back to normal. And we'll go over these instruments. I don't want to make the video too long, looking at the different menus and what's available. But anyway, that's about it. No other real changes other than the alternator generator switch, which used to be up here, has now been moved down here. Everything else is exactly the same. No real difference. That's it. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. I'll have some more put up once I go over these different instruments and get it all worked out. Anyway, that's it. We'll talk to y'all later. Thanks. Bye.